Welcome back. My name is Nick, and I have Taylor here with me. And today we're going to be talking about Succession, Season 4, Episode 4. Gosh, this is... I want so much more to be happening in this episode. It was a great episode. A lot happened, but it was like so slow paced to what you thought would be like chaotic right after the big news we got from the last episode. But we've been covering the series every episode as soon as it drops right after. We even do, if we have enough comments and stuff, we'll do a Q&A where we answer your comments and all that. And just so you know, all the comments are entered to win a shirt at the end of the month from the bestnerdyshirts.com. But Taylor, what did you think?
I think that his name is underlined.
You don't think it's crossed out?
Mm-mm. And that's the dialogue on Twitter right now. Is the Succession official Twitter account posted a screen grab of it, and they said underlined or crossed out. So it's up
Everyone's
in the air,
saying underlined,
for sure.
But it's also could be dated to back before the season even started.
Yes. Wait,
for all because no one knows because it has no timestamp or date on the paper, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, but at one point, Logan wanted Kendall to take the company.
At one point, yeah, and it's. I feel like I know people will comment what they believe. Well, my brother-in-law thinks that it was crossed out, so I already had a discussion with him. But I was arguing with him. I'm like, put yourself in Logan. Just picture Logan like crossing out Kendall's name. Don't you think you'd be like, or a little bit more like forceful or like squiggly?
Face it all.
I was like, yeah. It starts right under the K perfectly, and it just kind of goes up, just like anybody else would. You're not perfect straight lines, but
yeah.
Anyways, I feel like that's the question coming out
Comment
of this episode.
down below. Do you guys think it's crossed or do you guys think it's underlined? I honestly think it's underlined because it was when he was in good favors with Logan, and they were like, he was basically right underneath his dad's wing. He was in the right place, kind of training to take over. I think that's when that happened, and yeah.
Well, think about too, even in the lowest point between Logan and Kendall, when Kendall was having that last episode of the second season, when he was watching him do the press conference, and it was TV. Like he was kind of grinning.
He was proud of him,
and I feel like he knows. I feel like he knew deep down that Kendall could be a killer. And then we see Kendall in the bathroom right before he says all that stuff to Hugo, that like legendary last moment. I think that's going to be like go down in great Succession history.
He's a killer.
Yeah. So, and I think, okay, sorry to get.
No, keep going. I love it.
After I was talking about how, to my husband about how that Roman reacted to Carrie and was being really sweet. And I feel like that shows that Roman, like, you think Roman's a killer. Like, he kind of has that really, like, he won't back down and he'll say what he thinks. But that doesn't mean you're a killer just because, like, you're kind of trying to put on this, like, outward face or whatever. Yeah. But Kendall can really, like, he can turn the knife, I think.
Yeah, Roman's all talk but no bite kind of thing, or all bark and no bite, where Kendall's starting to grip his teeth in.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love the ending too, because he's already playing on the information he got earlier, using it as leverage. It's like, oh dang, Logan number 2 in the house.
Yeah, and just imagine too, like in the beginning of the episode, it was really striking how bad Kendall looked. I mean, of course, it's like the morning after. And then at the very end, he's like, he just like looks like he's on top of the world. He has like a very, what's the word? Evil grin on his face. Yeah. So,
yeah, you're right. He did have an evil
grin. It's quite
grin.
the turnaround.
And you know what's interesting too? Logan, the way he would interact in big groups too, he wouldn't really respond too much too. And it was very interesting even seeing the way Kendall was moving around the room and how he was, like even it's Marcia, right? That's Logan's wife. Even when that interaction with him, it was like kind of put off, like wallish. He didn't like totally acknowledge, but it was kind of like the way Logan would kind of react, where he kind of just let things play out and kind of dissolve itself kind of thing. But gosh, I know. Yeah. Okay. So Marcia's there. Whoa. Even before that, baby theory. We've been talking about baby theory here forever. What did the
I think
baby
that's
theory do for you this episode?
well, to backtrack, I feel like when we first said baby theory, the baby theory was
Mm.
that like Carrie was pregnant and that he just like
Mm.
left everything to that baby. That's like the ultimate baby theory. But an
Oh, okay.
alternate baby theory is that Shiv was pregnant, which,
Yeah. We
it was
kind of
kind of
we
obvious.
did talk about. I think in our theory video we talked baby theory, and we also mentioned Shiv's possibility of being pregnant too.
Yeah, and that's like another thing of like, can we really be surprised about that? Because like Logan's death, you kind of look back and there's obviously the
Mm.
obvious talk about it when Tom may or may not go to jail, and then
Yeah.
I remember I forget what episode, I think it was Connor's, was it last episode? She like refuses alcohol, and that's like the telltale sign for any movie or TV show. It's like
Yep.
you refuse alcohol, you're pregnant.
Yeah. Especially if you're a Roy.
Yeah.
Or maybe they also drink while they're pregnant. We don't know. We don't know. This is the first Roy.
Yeah. I feel like Shiv,
But yeah,
she wouldn't.
yeah. And then from there we go to the greeting of Kendall and Marsha. Marsha's back.
Marsha's
Like
back?
everyone's back for their piece of the pie. Basically.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been having these deep conversations with him. I'm like, man, does that sound like a Greg conversation? Oh, I just talked to Logan and he gave me a job. Like everyone's just stating these like Logan said this, so I'm guaranteed this kind of thing.
Yeah, it seems like she is guaranteed something because she appears to be in charge of the house, at least the very expensive
Oh, because
apartment.
yeah, because I guess with
I,
marriages, right? Don't you get something when your spouse dies? You get
yeah, and
stuff,
who
right?
knows what point they were in.
Yeah.
Did they even say if that actually happened or if they were just separated? I'm not sure.
I don't know if they ever got a divorce because that's what Carrie was saying, right? When she was like whispering uh to Roman
Oh,
when
that whole part,
she
I was just kind of watching it like this. I was like, oh
she
gosh.
said something like he was gonna get that we were gonna get married. He was filing up the papers for divorce or something like that. It
Oh,
was like it was
shit.
stuff along the lines of that's what I caught from it. I wish I had the foresight to go back and put on captions. But
Well, why do you think Carrie is like so weird? Like she's kind of acting a little bit out of
yeah,
control
maybe
almost,
she's baby theory.
Baby theory, or I don't know. It's like strange because you'd think you would have seen this part of her at some point before, like that
Mm,
she was a little bit
yeah, cuckoo.
capable of being. Yeah, it seems like she was like super composed and everything. But yeah,
She
I
like lost
guess.
it now, basically. No, I don't want to say she's cuckoo, but she lost it maybe with the death of Logan. But it's kind of like Tom's
Mm,
bitches. Tom and a lot of people there are only there because of Logan. So the only thing they had connected to this wealth, this company is gone. The only leverage they had was Logan, his word, or him saying this, or put her in as a newscaster, or blankety blank blank, and that's gone. Their safety net's gone, and we saw that with Tom this episode, kind of sucking up to everyone. But the best suck up was Greg. The best suck up was Greg when he walked into the room.
yeah, I mean his
He's
name's
like,
on
yeah,
it.
he says, I'm sad. He says, I'm
Oh
sad.
yeah. The Gregisms are so good this season. But just to go back to Carrie for a second, and I guess to go back to
Yes.
everyone, we do have to remember like it's been a week for us, seeing that episode. But in the timeline of the show, this is the literal next day after he was being
Yeah.
like resuscitated on a plane. So actually, I
Mm,
do kind of understand if Carrie is being a little off
yep.
because that's a pretty freaking traumatic situation. So there's that, I guess, to give her the
And her
benefit of the
stuff's there,
doubt.
so she was technically living with Logan.
To some degree, yeah, you think,
So
right?
if there was papers or certain things he hid somewhere where only she would know, or
Mm.
I think of Arrested Development. I think of when the boss was with the assistant, and it's like they're looking for the cooler. It's like it was like his frozen
Oh,
sperm
yeah,
bank or
yeah.
whatever, and she's like it's mine, and it's like this whole thing with the cooler, and but that's like the idea like she knows where all the bodies are buried kind of thing, or she knows stuff maybe no one else knows because she was with him the last X amount of months
Yeah.
or years or however long that
At the
time
end,
span was,
yeah.
she was the close one to him. So, and then okay, so Jerry's back and trying to take control, even though it's like obvious to Rome and Tom, and like she was on her way out.
Yeah, I do think that there's credence to like them saying that she was previously the interim. So if you look at it,
Mm,
if that were to happen to a company that,
yeah,
we hear about, oh, someone's the interim who was the interim before, you'd be like, oh, yeah,
mm,
that makes sense.
yeah,
So
it works.
I
Yeah,
kind of get that.
yeah. It reminds me of Frank's when remember Frank season one, he gets fired and then um Logan's up
They've
in the
all probably
hospital
been fired 1,000 times.
and they're back. So like Jerry's like, okay, I'm fired, but I still technically have my job position because nothing was filled out with paperwork. It was just word of mouth. Like there's no leverage to fire her kind of thing. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and then we get the paper with Kendall's name on it and Greg's name, but they don't say why Greg's name's on there.
Yeah, they say it just has a question mark next to it.
Yeah.
But it's also in the addendum where he's like he's saying like where his art should go. So
Yeah.
who knows?
So it's Greg with a question mark. Is Greg gonna weasel his name being on the paper into owning the company? I don't know. We'll see where that goes.
Your theory is one step closer, Nick. He is on the paper.
I mean, right now that's Kendall. Even though Kendall tried to, ruin his dad's reputation. He hated his dad and all this, but now he's supposedly the closest one, to him because his name's on a piece of paper. So was Greg's.
Yeah, and I really liked that, or not liked, but I thought it was really nice that conversation that Kendall has with Frank. Kendall's just
Mm,
really vulnerable in this episode, like how he
yeah.
starts crying with, I know the actor's name. What's his name? Stewie. Stewie?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Stewie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think it was a ploy, or you think it's him? Like it's Kendall being Kendall, or you think he's like
Oh, yeah.
using that to play emotions?
No, I think it's a complicated situation. I like
Mm,
just the fact that we're debating whether his name is underlined or crossed out. I think that the kids and probably everybody is, they have their own long game in the back of their mind
mm,
or the front of their mind, but they are sad. Like,
yeah.
this is somebody that they knew
Hmm.
for everyone in the executives to the kids knew him for, obviously decades and they
Yeah.
loved him. So yeah, I think it's complicated.
Mm,
And, it's very complicated for Shiv. I think that this is a really bad episode for her. Like a bad day, I guess. What do you think
do you
about
think
where she
she's gonna
stands?
get betrayed, or do you think her brother? Well, I think Roman's gonna try to hold up his end of the deal. I think
Hmm.
Roman would fight for it. I think Roman he's the only one that actually cares about people, as we saw in this
Yeah.
episode too.
Well, and I think it would be a wait and see thing because in the
Mm,
promos, I know the promos aren't perfect because they're really just showing you tiny slices. But I do
mm,
recall last week the promo with her and Matsson. It appeared like her and Matsson were in a room together by themselves. So
mm,
I mean, I don't know. I just don't want to say anything definitive because I have no idea what will happen. I like to think that they'll
mm,
be like even if they did hold up their part of the deal, it's like she didn't even want that deal to begin with, so she's probably not going to be happy either way, right? I don't
mm.
know.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. Because she was kind of playing with the other group. Remember, she was even on the phone differently from her brothers, trying to get that deal together. So, dang. Okay, so what do you think's gonna happen in the next episode? Do you think the deal's just gonna go through? Everyone's gonna run home on rainbows, and everything's gonna be great?
Yeah, totally. I don't know why it wouldn't be that. Um, yeah, I have
I
to kind of
mean,
remember where we stand with the Matsson deal. I've kind of lost the plot on that a little
obviously,
bit, but I think
the price is gonna be lowered because
the price
Logan's
is going
not
to be
there,
lowered.
and the value of the company
Mhm.
dropped. So they're not going to get as much as they thought they were going to get originally, and then they try to bump the deal to get even more, and now they're even worse off probably.
Yeah, I mean the stock market's just like it could close on the Monday. They said they're talking about Monday. Like
Mm-hmm.
it could close back up like really close to what it was before,
Mm-hmm.
but you never know. I don't think it's permanent that that big drop will stay. That's not
Mm,
really, I mean, it's not in the share
yeah.
people's best interest for that to happen, so they'll like kind of whatever. But um yeah, I think you're right. I think it'll go through at a lower price.
It has
Well,
to.
no.
It
Well,
has
no,
to
I
though
don't
at this
know
point.
because I think people thought Logan was like a dinosaur and that, it would be like Fox News buying or Twitter buying Fox News. I don't know. The person who made
Mm,
it like old school is gone and now like these potential like new people are in. I don't know. It's like
mm,
it could
yeah.
be an opportunity. So people might see it as like an opportunity for something new. Who
Mm.
knows? We'll have to wait.
I'm
What do you think?
excited. I'm excited. No, I think they're gonna get gypped, and it's gonna hurt their other deal, because I know they were banking on making money to buy another company to kind of do their own thing. So I think what's gonna happen, because it's drama and it's not gonna work out the way they want to work out. I think something's gonna happen along the lines of the deal's not gonna be worth as much, so they're gonna try to get a new deal, but like something where they're still in charge of the company. They're like, well, let's at
Mm-hmm.
least have our dads, like, let's at least do it right in our way. If we're not gonna get as much, f everyone else, we can still have the kingdom and run it our way, kind of thing. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I don't think it's gonna end with them selling the company off, because the show's called Succession. They have to find a successor to the
Yeah.
to the company.
So at this point, that no, Kendall said he wants the deal. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. So they're
I mean,
gonna
he's saying
go.
that now, but this is also the guy who saw his name on a paper and it flipped within like 20 minutes. He's like, oh, I'm going to run this
Yeah. You're
company because my
right.
name's on a sheet
You're
of paper. It's
right.
like, oh my gosh. And once they realize the deal's not getting as much and this, he's going to be like, well, we're better off keeping what our father built. Kind of, he's going to say and then he's going to promise Shiv this and promise Roman that. And then he'll probably kill them and be a killer. Not kill them, but like screw them out of the deal kind of thing. And then I
Mm-hmm.
think Tom's gonna find out about Shiv's pregnancy. If he doesn't already know, he's gonna
Mm-hmm.
find out, and I think that's gonna make him not like weak, but be on Shiv's side. Because I think like his father mindset's gonna pop in. He just seems like that type of guy. Remember when he thought he was going to jail and he was like a different Tom than he is
Well,
right
no,
now?
Nick. Now he has a tie back into the family, like
Yeah,
forever.
yeah. He'll be on
So
the outskirts at least. Yeah,
he'll be tied to the Roy family a little bit tighter than
yeah,
he
yeah.
is right now.
And then if Shiv gets excluded from her brothers, Tom can swoop in to be that person there for Shiv, even though she hates him right now and all that. But like, she's gonna need someone, and it's either try to find a new friend but all the friends now I feel like would just be using her. Even Tom would be using her, but like it has to be tough to have that much wealth. Like even with the everyone saying I'm sorry and my condolences when they're walking around the room, it's just like, and then they're like, what's the play? Who's gonna be? It's just like, oh my gosh, it has to be so awkward and tough. Ay, ay, ay. It's
Mhm.
too much.
Mhm. Well, either way, it appears that the next episode will be the next day or the next few days
Wow.
in Matsson's. Where is he? In like Sweden, I think.
Is he
So,
in Sweden? Yeah. Yeah, I think he is in Sweden or something like that. So
so
we will definitely get there. And I was trying to think if there's any other things we needed to talk about. Oh, Connor, he buys the house.
that was a really funny like subplot how Willa was just kind of like you kind of saw her in the background just being like, "Oh, I guess yeah, let's see. How does this feel?" Like she's like kind of checking things out like, "Well, I guess this is my
We
house
could
now."
blow this
So,
wall out to extend the room.
yeah, that was pretty funny cuz now
Yeah.
she's in it.
Yeah. That's so funny how quick Marsha was to sell the house.
Yeah.
The
And
deal
he's
was done
like,
with the handshake. Like, come on, like how much?
okay, speaking of spit handshake, wasn't the what's the other family that okay before Logan passed
Oh,
the
the
deal
guy
that
who
was
has a
happening?
smile on his face the whole time.
No. What was the deal that the kids did before? What was their name?
I can't. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The yeah. I'm sorry, I can't think of it right now. But wasn't that technically a handshake? Didn't they said it was a handshake deal, that they didn't sign anything with that.
Well, I mean, technically, they don't have the funds yet. Weren't they all
Right. So
banking on the funds from the closure of the business or their shares?
this the payout or the buyout or whatever you call it,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
the funds coming out.
Yeah.
So we had mentioned that being kind of like a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And I know that you're like kind of how Elon Musk was like held to buying Twitter because it was like, but theirs was a handshake, so I don't think they'd be under that same like mandatory purchase. So that's just something to think about, I guess.
What we know of, it's a handshake deal, but then they say we'll have our people get in touch with your people or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
But
because
also
we
kind of
skipped time from there, right? Yeah. Oh wait, so
no, I don't think so.
So it's been continuous then.
Yeah, I think this whole season is like going to be the course of like a week, because yesterday was the death and today was the next day.
Wow, exciting.
So yeah. Anyways, we're talking
what a
all
week.
Sorts of stuff. What a
week. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that would be a really cool like narrative structure if they keep to that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very South Park. You just kind of stick to it within the same day.
It is very South Park, yes. And every day someone dies, or Kenny dies.
No, Kenny? You killed Greg, you bastard. Greg's like the Kenny of the group. Oh gosh.
Oh, on that note, would be really fitting.
And on that note, comment down below things you think are going to happen, what you want to happen, or what you really think is going to happen. I know there's two different things there, but comment down below. And by the way, every comment's entered to win a shirt from thebestnerdyshirts.com. Thank you, Taylor, so much for being on this episode. We really enjoy reading your comments, and we'll probably do maybe a comment video this week. We'll see how timing goes with our schedule and everything else, but we'll see you on the next AsArt. Yeah, Greg for the win. His name was on the paper. I'm telling you.